Imposter syndrome is like having a mean friend in your space, but this time around, that mean friend lives in your head. Or let me say, it's like having a bully around you, but that bully lives in your head. What do bullies do? They try to disempower you, they try to harass you, they try to instill fear in you, try to make you feel small. So imagine having that kind of person living in your head, trying to disempower you, especially when you're trying to achieve something or do something worthwhile. How do you deal with such a friend, or how do you deal with that bully? Stay till to the end of this video to be able to find out. Hello there, my name is Tolu Akiemi. It's nice to be in your space again. If this is your first time here, welcome to my YouTube channel. If you're a returning subscriber, I'm glad that you've come back here again to listen to what I have to say. Today, I'm going to be talking about imposter syndrome, and at the end of this video, I want you to be able to go on with these three things. Understand what imposter syndrome is, to be able to recognize how it shows up in your life, or how it shows up in your life, and lastly, how to be able to deal with it. Let's dive right into it. Imposter syndrome is this feeling of inadequacy, feeling that you're not competent, feeling that you're not good enough, feeling like you're a fraud, or like somebody is going to find you out. So it's almost like you're looking over your shoulder. Somebody is going to find me out. I'm not good enough. I'm not this, I'm not that. Take, for instance, you get a new job. Before you get a job, after all, you've done some interviews, you've done some exercises, you've prayed, you've put in the work, and you've gone through stage 1 of the interview, stage 2, stage 3. You eventually land this job and you're like, oh, you're feeling yourself, and then you resume and you get there. I don't know, maybe it's something about the space, something about the people you've met, how they speak, how they command respect, or whatever it is. For some reason, you just realize that you start feeling funny. You start having this shift. You start feeling like, oh, something is going on. I don't deserve to be here. I don't belong here. Don't forget, you've gone through all those rigorous exercise and interviews to be able to get to that point where you start feeling like you're not good enough for this space, or these people are better than you. That's imposter syndrome. And the truth is, from time to time, we all go through things like this. We all have experienced things like this, especially if it's a new space you're getting into. Sometimes you just, even people, big people that you look up to, they might say, oh, before I mounted the stage, I was just feeling like, oh, can I do this? Can I do this? Can I do that? So we all go through this thing, or we are all affected by it, but the degree is different. Some people have learned to deal with it, whereas some are still at that point where it's paralyzing and gripping them. You're not able to do things that you're supposed to do. So that's imposter syndrome, and it shows up, it plays up in different ways. Some of the signs are you feel you're not good enough. I mentioned that earlier. You feel you're not competent. You feel you cannot attain this height. It could be for many reasons. You see yourself comparing yourself with some people on social media. You feel they have better lives, they have things going on for them, and then you start feeling like you don't deserve this. And the signs you start saying are these things I've mentioned. Anxiety, you start feeling like you need to be perfect. You beat yourself up when you make little mistakes. You see your flaws, and the truth is, our flaws are ever before us. We know these things. We know things that we are not good at. You see those things and you start feeling like, oh, I'm a fraud. They will find me out. You beat yourself up over and over and over again because of the mistakes that you made. And there are contributing factors. There are things that could be responsible for this. One of them is if you grew up in an environment that was very harsh. Maybe you were constantly criticized. And let me just put a short message out there to parents. We need to be careful, especially when it comes to raising little ones. If we are criticizing them, it's not healthy, because long after you are gone, your children will still hear your voice. Your voice can be their inner critic. Take, for instance, there are so many things probably your parents told you to do or not to do when you were younger. Now that you're an adult, you feel it. I saw a video recently and the lady said, oh, when she sits down, it's almost like she feels guilty that she's at peace, she's resting, she's not doing anything. And that's because she grew up in a home where you can't just sit down. You must be doing something. What are you doing? Have you done this? Have you done that? Have you done this? Have you done that? And then she moved into her own space. And it's almost like, you wake up, you're not doing anything. It's almost like, what's going on? She had to learn how to relax. That's someone who grew up in that kind. You see how the environment she grew up in, how it's showing up and playing up where she is right now. So these things are there. You might have grown up in a secondary school where you were constantly compared. Maybe your parents compared you to your friends, your siblings, or you had teachers who said harsh words towards you. So growing up in an environment where you're constantly criticized can have an effect on you, because you eventually grow up and you start feeling like, oh, these people are better than myself. Because of that comparison, these people are better than me, or I don't deserve this, I can't do this, I can't do that. And the worst part of it is that you might begin to self-sabotage. That is, you see opportunities that you're supposed to take, big things you're supposed to attempt, but you don't do them because of this crippling feeling. That bully is there trying to make you feel small, cripple you, you can't do this, and then you shrink into yourself. You might be in front of the mirror dressing up, you're applying all the makeup and everything, you're feeling fine. The conversation just goes on in your head. Oh, you're not even that fine. And the next minute, you see yourself from this bright, smiley person, and something starts to shift, and then you start to bow your head. It just shows conversations that go on in our head. They affect how we feel. It affects your thoughts. It affects your behavior eventually. So we need to start paying attention, and that will lead me to how we can start dealing with these things. So imposter syndrome can show up in different spaces. It can show up in your workspace. It can show up maybe when you're trying to be in a relationship. You see this guy and it looks like he's too good to be true. I don't deserve this guy. And then you start acting in ways that will sabotage that relationship, because the guy will have to start thinking twice. Do I want to be with a lady that is behaving like a mad person? That's on a lighter note, but really, it shows up in different spaces, in different parts of our lives, and you will know. You will know. But if you are in a new space, you need to, let's just dive into the next step. So, what I would say you should do if you realize that you struggle with this kind of feeling from time to time, the first thing is to be vulnerable with yourself and tell yourself the truth. If whatever you don't address, it will remain. Whatever you don't confront, it will remain. A bully needs to be confronted. If someone keeps bullying you and you keep quiet, they see no reason to stop, because you've not made any attempt to make them stop. So you need to confront it. Now, don't forget I said it's a conversation going on in your head. It's something going on in your head. It's affecting how you feel about yourself, and it's eventually affecting your behavior. It's hindering you from taking bold steps. It's hindering you from doing things. If you are stuck in being a perfectionist, you will do things wrong, or you're afraid of making mistakes. You will start actually making mistakes because you're afraid of it. You are not free in your mind to just do things. And even if you make mistakes, so what? So what? Has the world come to an end because somebody made a mistake? No. So be vulnerable with yourself. Recognize that voice. You need to be able to recognize it. The voice would always speak. It can be times where you want to take very bold steps and that voice just says something. It's a very harsh and critical voice. You must recognize the voice and speak back. Don't think back, speak back. Can you imagine? See how she made that mistake? Because I'm just trying to picture the visual representation of that voice. Look at her. See the mistake you made. You did this. And then instead of thinking back, don't think back, speak back, open your mouth and talk. The voice that told you are not beautiful, open your mouth and talk. I am fearfully and wonderfully made. I made a mistake. So what? Has the world come to an end? Am I the first person that will make a mistake? No, I'm not. I've made a mistake. I'm owning it and I will correct it. I don't have to feel anyhow or feel less of a human being because I made a mistake. Don't think back, talk back, open your mouth and speak to it. That is you confronting that voice in your head. Confront it, confront that voice in your head. So you open up to embrace your imperfections. We all have our flaws. We all have, there's nobody, perfection is an illusion. We don't have everything all put together. We don't have anybody walking on the surface of this earth that does not make mistakes. Even the people that you think are so flawless, get closer to them. That's when you see that, oh, this person also, this person does this person gets angry, this person does that. Because you see some people from a distance and because they are successful, you think they don't make mistakes as well. You think they don't have flaws. You think they don't shout at people. No, get closer to them. That's when you see that, oh, these people don't have perfect lives after all. So embrace your imperfections. It's not a call to mediocrity. It's not a call to just say, oh, this is how I am. It's not saying that, no, you can improve. No, that's not it. There's always room for improvement. But embrace who you are. Embrace your errors, your flaws, and embrace your mistakes. Instead of being harsh on yourself, embrace that part of you. It's part of me. If you don't love you, who else is going to love you? You are going to be with you for the longest time till you leave the surface of this earth. You will be in your company. So why not just love and embrace everything that has to do with you? So speak back to that voice, embrace yourself, exercise patience, because especially if you're in a new phase, before patience, let me talk about confronting the voice with facts. It might be like, oh, you cannot do this. You cannot achieve that thing. You cannot achieve that goal. Why not think back about goals that you've achieved? Little wins here and there. Why not think back? Oh, I did that. I was the one who did that thing. I was the one who designed that project. I was the one who led that team. I was the one who did this. Why not bring those things? Confront the thought with facts. I did this, I did that. Sometimes I remember someone saying, when you have a one-on-one with your manager, don't just let them say things, so you not do this, you don't communicate well, you don't do this, you don't do that, you've not done this. No. Go there as well with records, have evidence of your performances. That's why it's good to document some of the little wins you have. Write things about yourself. Oh, I achieved this, I achieved that. Remember those things and you call them back. You don't forget, don't think back. Don't talk back. Don't think that, oh, I was the one that did this. Don't respond with a thought. Oh, say it. I did this. I did that. I achieved this. I achieved that. And exercise patience, because sometimes we've gotten into the habit. It's become a habit that when that voice speaks to you, you shrink, you cower back, it's a habit already. You start worrying. It's a habit. You've learnt it. And it might take some time, or you've grown up in an environment where you've been conditioned in a certain way. It might take some time before you are able to really break free. And sometimes it might not go finally. But the good thing is that you feel you can't do something does not mean you should not do it. It's a choice to go beyond how you feel to get things done. It's a choice to go beyond how you feel, to actually achieve something, to actually do something, because it's a blessing in disguise. When you see that, oh, you are feeling a certain way, it's one, because you care about that thing you want to do. If you enter a room and you are feeling like maybe you don't belong here or something, it's because you care about that space. You can enter a place, if you don't care, you won't feel anyhow. You won't feel inferior in a space that you don't care to be in. But it's because you care to be there, and it's because you're about to do something big. So regardless of how you feel, you can still take action. Just be patient with yourself. Embrace yourself, okay? If you have accountability partners, if you have people in your life that you can express yourself to I'm big on having a support system, having people around you that you can talk, share together, say things together, because when you discuss these things, you're able to encourage yourself as well. So I hope that from this video, you've picked one or two things that can help you along your journey to embracing who you are, embracing your flaws, your imperfections, and dealing with that bully that keeps speaking in your head. Please don't forget to hit the subscribe button. Till I see you next time. Bye for now.